What's going on, folks? Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you are in. I am Bill Corpus Crispy, and welcome to this special project I've been doing, which we'll consider part of Murphy's View, or we'll consider it something. But I got something fun here today, and I am joined by my good friend and the president of the Sports Insanity Network, Lawrence Patchman Lang.
Yes, I am out from the proverbial retreat hole, as Aaron Rodgers likes to go to once in a while. I'm out for a little bit.
Yes. So, how's it like being out of the hole?
Feels good. Packers won today. A kicker finally made a field goal. Feels great.
On the last second.
Last few seconds, and you know what? Jordan Love learned from one of the best with clock management time. When you have a little bit of time, you can get yourself in field goal range and kick a hopefully a potential game winner. And he channeled his inner AR, got the ball in field goal range, and we got the dub.
Okay. So our project today is the World Series starts this Friday. Yankees won last night.
Yes, the Yankees punching their ticket back to the World Series, first time since 2009. They get over that hump. The drought's over, and maybe them winning a championship is drought's finally over, and they can maybe win the big one.
The
It's gonna take
big
them
one
gonna
indeed.
take them maybe 7 games, might take them 6 games, might take them 4 games. I'm sure a lot of Yankee fans want it done in four.
Yeah, but we'll talk about more about that on SIP and Bombers Banter, which will come out sometime this week. But anyway, I got a fun little project here for you, and Patchy was dragged into this.
Well, as an old saying goes, when people are unavailable, and I actually like the idea of doing this, and certain people need just to veg out, take a break, take a sabbatical, focus on game 6 right now. Shout out to you, old ups guy. Hope the Mets win tonight, force game 7, because who doesn't love a game 7? Danny Boy's watching the Jets right now, so he's focused on the Jets. You got to make a call to the bullpen, call the lefty in. The Patchman's here to help you with this tier list of 21st century World Series and
Okay.
rank them.
So I've been seeing a lot of these videos and I'm thinking, they're like, oh, Bill, why can't you come up with anything original? Well, you know what they say, Patch Man. Imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery.
Because you know what? Opinions are like the backside. Everyone has one.
And they all stink.
They all
Um,
stink.
but anyway, I've decided because I thought this was interesting. And the 21st century thus far, mainly because this is the time when people like me and people like Patch, this is when we've started paying attention to baseball. And
For the most part.
if we did like every World Series, we will literally be here till next week.
We would probably be here till the next World Series.
So that's why we are doing everything from 2000 to 2023. So without further ado, let me just share this sucker. Let's get this party started. Am I right?
Yeah, man.
All right. Here it is, the 21st Century World Series tier list.
Whoop, whoop.
Ta-da! Isn't it beautiful?
It is beautiful, Bill. Good job.
All right. For those of you who are unfamiliar with tier list, S is like the top, which means superior. Think of S as like A plus. Think that's a fair way to put it.
Yeah, A plus, extra bonus points we'll go with.
Yeah. A is very good.
Hey, we like you.
B is good. Would you
Good.
say B is good?
Yeah.
C is
Uh,
slightly above average.
uh, in the pro wrestling world, shout out to the Face Turn podcast. It's mid.
It's mid.
It's
D
mid.
is below average.
It wasn't. It was a little bit enjoyable, but it really wasn't.
And F is garbage,
Ooh,
crap,
it stunk.
useless. We wish this series never happened.
I wouldn't say it didn't happen. We just wish it was better.
Yes. Okay, so we start at the turn of the century. We start with the 2000 World Series, the Subway Series with the Yankees and the Mets. The Yankees going for a three-peat.
Yeah, come, you have the midst of the core four doing business,
You
doing
got
doing business, and you know what? It seems who was going to be the one that stopped, the World Series train of keep making the World Series and winning World Series.
so anyway, so you had the Yankees in they were probably the fourth team since 1960 to reach the World Series with fewer than 90 wins at 87 and 75.
87 and 74.
74. Thank you. Ding.
You're welcome. Ding.
And the Mets finishing with 94 and 68. The path to the World Series for the Mets, they beat the Giants 3-1, and they beat the Cardinals in the NLCS 4-1. For the Yankees, the ALDS, they beat the A's 3-2. They beat the Mariners 4-2 in the LCS.
A
So,
very good Mariners team too.
oh, absolutely. And the next year's Mariners team was even better, but we'll talk about that in a bit. And, memorable moments. You had Todd Zeal's home run in game one, the Mets' base running mistake. And you had Knobloch's game time sac fly, Jose Vizcaino's walk-off single in the 12th. You had the Scott Brosius home run in game two, the thing between Mike Piazza and Roger Clemens. You remember that, the broken bat. Listen, Roger Clemens is one of those people I don't want to mess around with.
I wouldn't either. Him and David Wells, I wouldn't mess with.
Game three, when the Mets won, Robin Ventura. That was actually the first time the Yankees lost a World Series game since game two of the 96 World Series.
4-2. Game only took 3 hours and 40 minutes and in front of 55,299 fans.
This was game three.
This was game three with the walk-off.
And then you had game four, you had Jeter's leadoff home run, Piazza's 2-run home run. Game five, of course, Jeter's game tying home run. You had the fly out from Piazza to Bernie, which gave the Yankees a three-peat. Yankees won the series 4-1, and Derek Jeter was the MVP. All right, Pat, I'm going to let you start. What are your thoughts on this series?
I think only being, six at the time. Your brain isn't that, well versed and you don't remember much. I don't really remember watching this World Series that much. Probably once again being 6 years old, and I really wasn't that immersed in baseball at that time in my life. But looking at a historical factor, realize, hey, this is the first time, probably in a long time since two New York teams faced off in the World Series. So
Well, I agree with you. And this was the first Subway Series since 1956 when the Yankees played the Dodgers. So this was the first time in 44 years. And, I think it was exciting for New York to see both of them to see the Yankees and the Mets play each other. A city was divided, but in a really fun way. But however, yeah, Patch's internet is out right now, so I'm doing this on my own. Um, okay, he is out for a bit. All right, here's my thoughts on this while we wait for Patchy to come back. To me, this is a series, unless you lived outside New York, people are really not going to care about this series. Unless you live in the New York area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, some parts of Jersey, some parts of Connecticut, you're really not going to care. Excuse me, just send a quick pitch You're really not going to care. And you know what? To me, out of like those dynasty years for the Yankees, out of the dynasty years for the Yankees, 96, 98, 99, 2000. This is probably the one I really don't think about a lot. Actually, no, I don't think I think about 1999 more. But I think the only fact that made this series memorable was because this was a Subway Series. And welcome
Sorry,
back, Match.
sorry, folks. Internet problems sometimes. Internet problems might be a little bit of a problem, but we might be in and out here and there. But we got
Okay.
this. We got this. Don't worry.
Yeah. So,
Bill, you have vast baseball knowledge. You can carry this well if I go in and out.
yeah. So I was kind of stalling because I'm thinking, well, if he doesn't come back, I got to do this on my own. Anyway, well, here's what were you saying, Pat, before you went out?
Uh, I mean, if you look at this from a historical factor, I think this was the first time since 1963 that two New York teams faced off in the World Series.
56.
66, close
No,
enough.
56. 56.
56. Okay, my apologies. I think that was the Dodgers and the Yankees, the Brooklyn Dodgers as the
Yep.
fan. And that's when the Yankees won it was probably their 17th championship or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Who the hell knows, But before my time, I only been alive for 5 Yankees World Series championship victories. Regardless, Yankee fans, probably put this as a B tier because they beat the Mets. But in hindsight, it's a middle of the road World Series. So,
Well, I think it was for a 5-game series, I think it was pretty good because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you have it up, all games were decided by 2 runs or less.
I mean, according to my notes, if you look at it, Yankees won game 1 4-3. Won game 2 6-5. Mets won 4-2. Then Yankees won 3-2 4-2. Series over in 5.
Well, here's the thing, and I said this when you were out, like this 2000 team really wasn't all that impressive. They only won 87 games that year. And plus, I think this is the series, and let me tell you, folks, Major League Baseball is banking on a Yankee-Dodgers World Series. They do not want to see a Subway Series because, like I said, unless you live outside the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, you're really not going to care. So I'm gonna. You say B tier,
C tier. No,
I'm gonna go.
I
thinking
said
B tier.
I'm saying C tier. I only say B tier because that's what probably Yankee fans put it at because they beat the Mets.
Okay, I got B. You put C. How should we decide this?
Well, Bill, for the first one, we will throw it in B tier. I will.
We can change it at the end. I might.
I will. I will give the slight edge to be putting it as a B World Series.
All right.
For a context of that, most games were decided within 3 runs. So
Okay, so we're putting 2000 in B tier. Okay, next one we got 2001. The Yankees and the Diamondbacks. The path to the World Series. Yankees went 95 and 65. They beat the A's 3-2. They beat the Mariners 4-1. A very good Mariners team that year. They won 116 games. And the Diamondbacks, they went 92 and 70. They beat the Cardinals 3-2, and they beat the Braves 4-1. And the memorable moments in this, you got Randy Johnson shut out in game 2, but we all remember what the big ones were. The 3 games at Yankee Stadium. Clemens pitched a gem. Brosius' RBI single. Posada's home run. Game 4, Martinez's tie-in home run. And, of course, Mr. November, Derek Jeter, walk-off. Then game 5, you had Scott Brosius hitting the game-tying home run. And then you had Alfonso Soriano's walk-off RBI single. in Game 7, of course, you had Tony Warmack's game tying RBI double and Luis Gonzalez's walk-off RBI single. Game 7 is considered one of the best Game 7s in World Series history. And, this was a really, and also the MVP of that series, Diamondbacks won 4 games to 3, the quickest expansion team to win a World Series. And the MVPs were Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling.
3 years. Took them to win a World Series.
Yeah, and this was also a big one because this was right after 9/11. So I think even though the country hates the Yankees, I think they were all rooting for the Yankees because they wanted to see New York win. But the Diamondbacks brought the reigning champs' reign to an end.
I mean, if you look at this World Series, this was, a uplifting moment for a New York team to make the World Series after the events that unfolded 2 months prior. Well, month and a half prior, actually. So, and then, you say remember moments on the field. You got George Bush's, first pitch, strike right down the middle with the wise words of Derek Jeter saying, "Don't bounce it.
They'll boo you.
They'll boo you." And Bush is like, "Well, how do I?" So Bush, throwing a gem of a first pitch that set the tone for the series in New York. And if you actually also look at this World Series, it's a series where all home teams won the games.
That's true.
So that brings a interesting factor into this in a ranking system. And if you actually look at Game 5, when the Yankees took a 3-games, 2-series lead, there were 56,000 fans in attendance for that game. Game 5.
Wow. Because you want to know something, though, here, Patch. This was a time, even though the Yankees ended up losing the series, this was a time when New York needed the Yankees. New York needed baseball.
I agree with you.
And this was of course, everyone talks about Jeter's walk-off home run in Game 4, Mr. November, but because of the attacks, things had to be pushed back. And if you remember midnight and it's flashed on the screen, welcome to November baseball.
Yeah, and then at like 12:03, he hits the walk-off or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
And also, I remember, first of all, if anybody wants a good watch, and Patchy's heard me promote this documentary plenty of times, 9 Innings from Ground Zero. There's a scene when it was right after there was a young girl who big Yankee fan. Her father was a fireman. He perished in the attacks, and she wrote to Derek Jeter and saying, "I really want to meet you." And he called her and said, "Hi, this is Derek Jeter." He goes, "No, it isn't." "Yeah, it is." And he invited her to come meet him. And her mom said when she hung up that phone, she was singing, she was smiling. And you know what? I think that's why. Listen, even though the Yankees lost that series, this was a time when New York needed the Yankees. And like, listen, talking from the Diamondbacks perspective, an expansion team that's only been around for 3 years, you said?
Oh yeah, I think the Diamondbacks came into the expansion field in '98, if I'm not mistaken.
They've only been around for about 3 years, and they beat the biggest, baddest, mightiest franchise, especially with Tony Womack, game tying double, and then Luis Gonzalez's RBI single. And Luis Gonzalez's RBI single. And that Game 7 was just a nail biter. And as a Yankee fan, I think this was one of the best World Series. And you know what? Pat, you and I can debate on this. I don't know if you agree with me, but I'm going to put 2001 in S tier. What are you thinking? This was a classic back and forth.
It's a classic back and forth. Every game was won by the home team. New York's in there for New York's in there to win for New York because of the events that unfolded a few months prior. I I don't know if I can put it. I might be able to put an S tier, but I think it's an A tier because I feel that it, it's on the cusp of a seven, and I'm not a seven, an S tier. I guess yeah, it's hard for.
Okay,
I'm thinking like I get you can put it there.
okay, S tier.
I'll give it S tier. I think it's an S tier definitely if the Yankees won it too. The Yankees won that one. It's an S tier automatically.
Yeah, well, I'm saying S tier because one, it was a back and forth series. You had so many memorable moments. Like I said, I think the most memorable ones were the three games at Yankee Stadium in Game Seven. And but you know what? Like, here's the thing. I'm a Yankee fan. You see, I'm wearing the hat. I'm wearing the pinstripes. I'm wearing the hat and the pinstripes. But you know what? I gotta be non-biased here. I gotta be non-biased. Even though the Yankees lost this World Series, I still think it was a great series. So that is my justification for putting it in S tier. Okay, Yankee haters, don't worry. You finally get your revenge. 2002, the Angels and the Giants. Pass to the World Series for the Giants. They beat the Braves 3 games to 2 in the LDS. They beat the Cardinals 4 games to 1 in the NLCS. And for the Angels, like I said, Yankee fans, like I said, Yankee haters, they beat the Yankees 3 games to 1 in the LDS, and they beat the Twins 4 games to 1. And memorable moments, this was the first time two wild card teams played each other in the World Series.
There we go.
And Barry Bonds, his home run in Game One, Reggie Sanders, his home run, Troy Glaus, his hit 2 home runs. The first time that the first 3 hits in the World Series were home runs. Reggie Sanders again in Game Two, Tim Salmon, JT Snow, Barry Bonds. I think Barry Bonds hit a home run in like most games. K-Rod pitched amazing. He was the youngest pitcher to pitch a World Series game at just 20 years old in 286 days. Game 3, Scott Spezio's RBI triple. They became the first team to send 9 men all to the plate in consecutive innings. And Game 5, we remember JT Snow saving Dusty Baker's son after he ran in. Giants had 12 home runs in the 5 games, most in a World Series. Angels struck out a total of 11 times. Game 6, Angels came back from being down 5-0. Troy Glaus's game-winning double in the 8th inning, and Garrett Anderson's 3-run double in Game 7. Angels won 4-3, and Troy Glaus was the MVP. So, Patch, what do you think?
Um, I mean, you look at this. This is actually two California teams facing off against each other.
It's the California Subway Series.
I wouldn't say it's a California Subway Series because, well, I think Anaheim and San Francisco are a little bit further apart from each other in the state. Makes for easy travel, but forget travel. I guess if you kind of look at it, I think this was Barry Bonds' only World Series appearance
Yes.
in his career. And that was probably his best shot at winning a World Series because, he started his career with the Pirates and then, went to the Giants. And, he's the all-time home run king. You can put an asterisk there, whatever. He's still one of the greatest hitters of all time, minus if it's confirmed he took steroids, whatever. Throw that out of out of the Covey Cove while we're at it.
What was that last part?
I said, let's just throw it out of McCovey Cove. Forget about it for now.
We're looking at this series in historical context, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of look at, game 1, it was 4-3, game 2, 11-10. and then it was a blowout 10-4, and then another close one 3-4. Game 5 was a blowout for Angels only scored four runs. San Francisco scored 16, and then Game 6, Anaheim won 5-6. I mean 6-5, and then ultimately went on to win the World Series 4-1. I I mean, hey, a 7-game World Series automatically puts you at a B tier. So I
Yeah,
think,
you know what? I just need to say something, and we're gonna go through a lot of like sweeps and stuff. Just because a World Series is a sweep doesn't automatically make it a bad series. Just because a World Series goes 7 games doesn't automatically make it a great series.
no,
So I'm thinking A or B. What do you think, Patrick?
B. This,
Okay.
this is just a great World Series. It went 7 games. You had two great teams, both 95 plus win teams. Anaheim won 99 games that season.
Would you put this ahead or behind 2000?
Uh, I think it goes ahead of 2000.
Okay, I think that's fair. I think that's fair because, like this was an up back and forth series, and before the whole stuff with Barry Bonds, he had a great World Series. So yeah, I think BT's fair. B tier's fair. Okay, next, the 2003 World Series, the Florida Marlins and the New York Yankees. The Marlins beat the Giants 3-1 in the LDS. Then they beat the Cubs in the LCS 4-3. We all remember Steve Bartman, who is now living. Hopefully, he's living his best life. We wish him well. And the Yankees beat the Twins in the ALDS 3-1 and beat the Red Sox in the LCS 4-3. Thank you, Aaron Boone. Um, Memorable moments of the series. In game 1, Penny, Willis, and Urbina held New York to 2 runs in the first game. Pettit pitched a hell of a game in game 2. Soriano Masui homered. Cabrera's 2-run single in game 3. The rundown between Musina and Ivan Rodriguez. And Roger Clemens' last game in game 4. And Cabrera hitting the home run. And, I just remember in the World Series film when Clemens was pitching his last pitch, there was like cameras all over the place. You couldn't see it. And then you had Alex Gonzalez, Ruben Sierra's 2-run triple to tie. Alex Gonzalez's walk-off game win World Series home run since Bill Mazeroski in 1960 against the Yankees. And then in game 6, you had Beckett on 3-day rest as he went through it with Pettit. The Marlins scored the game's only runs on 3 consecutive 2-out singles by Alex Gonzalez, Juan Pierre Luis Castillo in the 5th, and Juan Encarnacion sacrifice fly that scored Jeff Connie. And it was the first complete shutout in World Series history since 1991. Marlins won that series 4-2, and Josh Beckett was the MVP. All right, Patchy, what do you think?
If you look at the box scores and all that, and you get to
All right, here we go again. Okay. Um, Here's the thing. Everyone's gonna probably think I'm being biased because I'm a Yankee fan. But this was a series, like I'll admit, the Marlins, I think, put up a very solid fight against, the waning days of the Yankee dynasty. Well, who am I kidding? At this point, it was over. After they lost in 2001, this was the end of the Yankee dynasty. Um, I think, this was a good, solid team. I think this was a good, solid team. I think Castillo, Pierre, Rodriguez, Encarnacion, I think all of them were they just really went up against this legendary Yankee team. And of course, you had Alex Gonzalez hitting the first walk-off home run against the Yankees since Bill Mazeroski in 1960. You had you had the first complete shutout in World Series history in about 12 years at this point. To be honest, I'm thinking like B tier. I'm thinking either A or B tier. Oh, I wish Patchy was here. He could help me out. I'm thinking either A or B tier. I'm trying to think about this. A or B tier. Welcome back, Patch.
We're back.
All right. So I said like this was a good series. It put, an end to the Yankee dynasty, even though it was pretty much already over.
I was gonna say that in my dissertation before I got kicked out.
Yeah. So Patch, floor is yours since you got kicked out by
Uh
problems.
internet problems. If people didn't hear me, Yankees actually outscored the Marlins. It's happened before. Most recently was 2000, the year prior, I believe. Other than that, hey, good on the Marlins. 2 World Series in 10 years since their existence because they won in 97. So 2 championships in 10 years in your existence. You can't complain there for the Marlins. So end of the day, I remember watching this a little bit. I really wasn't that enthused. It's probably a C tier World Series.
I think that's fair to say. Okay. Up next. Oh boy. I really don't want to talk about this one, but
Bill, you can't
I
be
have
biased.
to.
Can't be biased. Don't be salty.
I have to because I committed myself to this project and I'm going to give you all my non-biased opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
The 2004 World Series, the Red Sox and the Cardinals. The path to the World Series for the Red Sox was they swept the Angels in the LDS 3-0. And the LCS, they beat the Yankees 4-3. The first time that a team has won a playoff series after being down 3-0. And Patchy's internet is out again. The first time a team has won a series for after being down 3-0. And flip it over to the Cardinals. They beat the Dodgers 3-1, and they beat the Astros at Game 6, which was absolutely fantastic, 4-3. The memorable moments of this series, Game 1, Red Sox won 11-9. David Ortiz a 3-run home run. Kevin Millar's RBI double. Larry Walker hit a home run. He went 4 for 4 in that game with the game tying hit. Manny overran and missed the ball. Mark Bellhorn's go-ahead home run. There was 20 runs, which was the most in a World Series opening game. When we go to Game 2, Red Sox 6, Cardinals 2. We got Schillen pitched the game with the bloody sock and the busted ankle after the one that he had in New York. Jason Varitek's 2-run RBI triple. Mark Bellhorn's RBI double. Game 3, Cardinals winning 4-1. Manny Ramirez 4-1. Hitting a home run, 2 double plays. Walker grounds out and throws out Supans at the home plate, and Manny Ramirez, second player since Lenny Dykstra to get a home run and an outfield assist in the same game. And The final one, game 4, Red Sox won 3-0. Johnny Damon's home run, Trot Nixon 2-run double, Derek Lowe, third straight game where a Red Sox pitcher did not give up an earned run. And the Sox won 4-0. Red Sox win their first title in 86 years, and MVP Manny Ramirez. Okay, I just went through the whole description, Patch. You're just in time. Okay, thoughts on this series? I'm gonna let you go first.
Well, we're gonna spitball here. Hopefully, it doesn't go out again.
Okay.
If it does, I apologize, folks. It's a historical factor. Red Sox finally ended the curse of the Bambino. Granted, they did it in 4 games. Albert Pujols made a World Series appearance. Hey, good for Albert. He gets over that World Series hump in the following year. A couple years down the road, actually. He gets over that World Series hump, wins the World Series for the first time. Hey, good for Albert. Good on the Red Sox here because all the momentum was on here after coming back 3-0 against the Yankees. It's still the only time ever a team has blown a 3-0 lead in a baseball postseason, MLB postseason, blah, blah, blah. We see in other sports, but regardless. End of the day, middle of the road World Series, beer tier.
All right, here's my opinion. You think I'm going to be all biased, don't you, Patch? And listen, here's the thing. This is, to me, the equivalent of, that old saying, the journey is more exciting than the destination?
Yes.
In both LCSs, the ALCS, of course, the Red Sox were down 3-0. First time a team ever came back from being down 3-0. And the NLCS, a lot of people don't talk about the NLCS. That was a pretty impressive series as well. But when you get to that, I think the LCSs were more exciting than the World Series. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. This series really wasn't that impressive. I think the most competitive game was game 1. Was the most competitive game. All the rest were just washes. You know what I'm saying, Patch?
Yes, sir.
So I think the historical factor of this, the Red Sox breaking the curse, and listen, I respect that because there were a lot of fans who lived and died without seeing the Red Sox win a World Series. And, when I watched the World Series video, yes, and I watched it sober. But, there were people going, oh, please, you guys got to win. My grandfather, he's 89 years old. He just wants to see the Red Sox win a World Series before I go. Before he goes. Which, I understand that. But to me, I'm going to go more, I'm thinking either B tier or C tier. And here's why, and we can debate about this in a second. I think the historical factor in this series kind of overshadows the actual series, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So I'm thinking either B tier or C tier. Patch, what do you think?
People that want more about, the Red Sox breaking the curse in 2004, go check out 4 Days in October. Great 30 for 30 on ESPN, people. Go watch it. It's very cool, very interesting. You learn a lot.
Well, Lonnie Clark's in that. He's cool.
Also watch Fever Pitch because it was filmed during the time of this historical bullshit for the Red Sox.
And also watch my review of it I did on this channel.
Middle of the road film, regardless. It's a C tier World Series.
Yeah.
It's a C tier World Series. If we're talking the American League Championship Series from this year, we're putting it in S tier.
Oh, that would be an S tier. No ifs, ands,
it'd be an S tier. No doubt about it. But for this, it's a C tier World Series.
Okay. So should we put it above or behind 2003?
Put it behind 2003.
Okay.
No, I take that back. Put that ahead of 2003.
You know what? I'll put it ahead just because of the historical aspect of it. See, wasn't I fair to this series?
So far, yes.
Okay. 2005, the other Sox.
Oh,
White
wow. What
Sox
are you swinging at?
White Sox versus Astros. White Sox, they beat the Red Sox 3 games to none in the LDS. Their first playoff win since 1917. They beat the Angels in the LCS 4 games to 1. The Astros beating the Braves 3 games to 1 in the LDS and their rematch against the Cardinals, LCS 4 games to 2.
Remember, folks, the Astros used to play in the NL Central when there was 6 teams, and it took them forever to fix it. Regardless,
This is the first time the White Sox have been in the playoffs since 1917, and this is the first time in franchise history the Astros have been to the World Series. So, memorable moments. Game 1, White Sox won 5-3. Jermaine Dye's home run, Joe Cede's home run. Game 2, White Sox won 7-6. Joe Crede, RBI single. Jermaine Dye, RBI single. Konerko, grand slam. Vizcaino, who is now in the White Sox, game tying single. Okay, I read something wrong. I'm sorry. Jermaine Dye was in game 4, not game 2. I misread. I'm sorry.
dang.
And Scott Prosegnick's walk-off home run in game 2. Game 3, White Sox 7-5. Roy Oswalt shut out 4 innings. Creedy's home run. Jason Lane's home run. Game tying double. Jeff Blum's home run was 14 innings, which was at the time the longest World Series game, 5 hours and 41 minutes. And game 4, White Sox won 1-0. In Backey versus Garcia. Garcia, who pitches for the White Sox. Jermaine Dye, RBI single, and Eubanks dives into the stands to the catch, just like someone else we know. And the White Sox win 4-0, first in 88 years, and MVP Jermaine Dye. All right. Patchman.
Once again, another World Series I really don't remember watching. From the way he looks at it, this is just another C-tier World Series. Obviously, Ozzie Guillen, manager of the White Sox, gets the dub, and the south side of Chicago gets to raise the banner first before the north side of Chicago.
Oh, we'll get to them later.
Well, we'll get to the Cubbies later, but you know what? The White Sox break the Chicago curse, we'll go with, of winning a championship in the new millennium, because it was the first time since 1959 that the White Sox won the World Series, if I'm not mistaken, Bill, at that time.
Yes, since 1917.
No, well, let's see here. According to my history book of, having a Wikipedia page open up, the White Sox there was first World Series win since 1917. Last appearance was 1959, prior where they lost to the Dodgers. So,
Okay. Listen, I'm thinking either B or C tier.
It's another C tier. This is, granted, we said that, sometimes 4-0 sweeps don't mean any, are not exciting or are exciting, but this is just another World Series that's just all right, middle of the C.
Yeah, but we got to admit, there was good pitching in that series.
Oh, good pitching for sure, yes.
With the White Sox, and then with Oswalt and Clemens and Pettit on Houston. We'll put it in C tier. Should we put it?
It's between the two.
Okay.
The 03 World Series is still down.
Okay, 2006, what a lot of people call the worst World Series. The Cardinals and the Tigers. The Cardinals beat the Padres 3 games to 1 in the LDS, and then the LCS. Met fans, I know you're probably still upset about this 18 years later, beat the Mets 4 games to 3 in the LCS. The Tigers beat the Yankees 3 games to 1 in the LDS, and they beat the A's 4 games to 0 in the LCS. And memorable moments of the series, if you can call it that. Cardinals won 7-2. First time 2 rookie pitchers pitched against each other in the opening game of the series. It was Anthony Reyes versus some guy. I don't think you've ever heard of him, Patchy. Justin Verlander. Never heard of him. You?
Nope, not a day in my life, my friend.
Albert Pujols' home run, Scott Rowland's home run, and ground rule double. Brendan Inge interfering with Scott Rowland. Craig Monroe, game 2, Tigers 1-3-1. Craig Monroe home run. Sean Casey RBI single. Kenny Rogers let no Cardinal in scoring position with Jimmy Edmonds RBI single. I'm bored just reading this.
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna say to people the clicks and listening, just put it at D tier and call it a day.
You're going D tier.
I'll go. I won't give it an F. I'll give it a D tier. This was a World Series, I think, where the Tigers should have won because they had the better pitching. They won 93 games that year, and against the St. Louis, only won 83 games. But a saving grace, okay, I guess we can put in C tier. Albert Pujols won his first World Series.
So you want to move it up to C tier, or
I'll move it up to C tier, and we can put it between the.
I'm still thinking. I think D tier is just way too generous.
I mean, you can put it. I mean, we'll just keep. It's. If you want to put it at F, I wish we can have a D plus tier. Just put it at D plus so we can be in the middle. But if you want to put it at F, Bill, it's your program tonight. We'll put it at F.
You know what? Let's put it at D for now.
Okay.
We'll put it at D for now, and then I'll check, and then let's see what kind of mood I'm in.
All right.
All right. I think that's a fair compromise.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, you came in to save me here, so I'm willing to compromise you.
All right. I appreciate that, buddy.
All right. 2007 World Series, Red Sox versus Rockies. Red Sox, they beat the Angels 3-0 in the LDS. They beat the Indians, which are now the Guardians, 4-3. I have to say that or I'll get canceled.
Yeah.
Rockies beat Padres in the 1-game playoff, beat the Phils in the LDS 3-0, and beat the D-backs 4-0. Game 1, Rockies, Red Sox won 13-1. Pedroia's home run.
Oof.
Jason Varitek single, J.D. Drew double to score Ramirez and make it 3-0 Red Sox. Red Sox scored 7 2-out runs. Game 2, Red Sox won 2-1. Mike Lowell's 2-run RBI double. John Papelbon picks off Matt Holliday. To me, this is just another forgettable one.
It's another forgettable one because everyone, expects it to be a good World Series, maybe like a 4-2 World Series or maybe a, 4. Now I'm gonna say 7 games, but it might have been like a 4-2 or 4-1. Actually, it wasn't. Yeah, because it was just a sweep. The Red Sox just went on, won 2 at home, and then won 2 in Colorado. I was like, bye, we're gonna go celebrate another championship in 3 years.
To me, I think this is another D tier.
It's another D tier. Just put it behind the other one. We'll go back to back and we'll reevaluate at the end.
Because you know what I think, but you know what I did say this. Dan Shaughnessy, I think his name is. He's a Boston sports writer. He said the 2004 World Series was about honoring past generations of Red Sox fans, those who lived and died without seeing their beloved Red Sox win a World Series. Well, 2007 was for the current Red Sox fans.
Yes, it was to show that the Red Sox winning in 2004 wasn't a fluke.
Yes. Okay, let's move to 2008. Oh, and by the way, Red Sox won Series 4-0, and Mike Lowell was MVP. 2008, the Phillies and the Rays. The Phillies beat the Brewers in the LDS 3-1, and they beat the Dodgers 4-1. Rays beat both Sox, beating the White Sox in the LDS 3-1, and beating the Red Sox 4-1. Game 1, Phillies won 3-2. Chase Utley home run. B.J. Upton threw out Shane Victorino at home. Carl Crawford home run. Game 2, the Rays beat the Phillies 4-2. Tampa Bay scored the first run of the game in the first inning when Akanari Awana and B.J. Upton scored on consecutive groundouts by Pena and Longoria, respectively. Burnett in a home run. Worth hit an RBI single in Game 3. Phillies won 5-4. Carlos Ruiz home run. Chase Utley and Ryan Howard went back-to-back. Upton scores tying run on throwing error. Carlos Roos game-winning single. Game 4, Phillies won 10-2. Jimmy Rollins RBI double. Carl Crawford hit a home run. Ryan Howard 3-run home run. Joe Blanton, first pitcher to hit a home run in the World Series since 1974, and Ryan Howard homered again. Game 5, Shane Victorino RBI single, Pena game tying single, and this game was suspended due to weather. Remember that? It took them like 3 days to finish it. And yeah, Boldotti home run. Phillies won 4-1, and Cole Hamels was MVP. All right, Patchman, talk to me.
Looking at it from, I wouldn't say historical factor, but looking back at this World Series, I remember this was a vivid World Series I watched because I was rooting for the Rays because, teams that haven't won a World Series yet, Tampa Bay, that was their first World Series appearance as a franchise from this coming league since I think it was 96. I think they came into the league. Regardless, I was rooting for them. But, it's another one where, a more complete team just got the job done. And the Phillies just made quick work at Tampa Bay, and it's another World Series where it's not memorable to remember. So it's to me, it's just another D tier World Series.
I'm thinking either C tier or D tier.
I mean, well, no, put it in C tier because, it was another team that hadn't made a World Series yet. It was back-to-back years where two teams didn't make a World Series, made a World Series, couldn't win it, but hey, we'll give them to them. We'll give them a C tier ranking.
Okay, next one, 2009. Yankees and Phillies. Yankees beat the Twins in the LDS 3-0. They beat the Angels in the LCS 4-2. Phillies beat the Rockies 2-1 in the LDS, and they beat the Dodgers 4-1 in the LCS. Game 1, Phillies won 6-1. Chase Utley, 2 home runs. Game 2, Yankees won 3-1. Matsui and Teixeira home run. Posada RBI single. Game 3, Yankees won 8-5. Jason Worth home run, and A-Rod hit a home run. No more murderous rage, Patch.
This is where you still had murderous rage for him.
And Pettit's RBI double, Johnny Damon's 2-run RBI double, Swisher home run, Matsui home run. Yanks won 7-4 in Game 4. Jeter RBI single, Damon's RBI single, Chase Utley hit a home run. Pedro Feliz game tying home run. Damon stole 2 bases. A-Rod 2-run double. Game 5, Phillies won 8-6. A-Rod RBI double, Utley 3-run home run, Utley second home run. Game 6, that's Game 5. Yankees won 7-3 in Game 6. Matsui 2-run home run, 6 RBIs in one game. Yankees won the series 4-2. And Hideki Matsui was MVP. So, you know what? I am trying to remove my biases here. But here's what I'm going to say.
I'll put it this way. If you put it in S tier, I'm leaving.
No, I'm not going to put it in S.
All right, then I'm staying. Then you're fine right now.
It was a good series.
It was.
It was me, good, not great.
Good, but not great. The Yankees win their 27th championship. It was their first World Series appearance since 2003. They kind of get past that, oh, hey, we blew it against the Red Sox, and maybe we were cursed for a little while, but no, they weren't.
Because, because here's what I say. In like 2008, that's when the whole thing, 2008, 2009, that's when the whole thing with A-Rod happened. The Yankees were able to put the distractions at the door.
As I've been told many times by my mother before I go to work, you leave your BS outside, you go do your thing, and then you worry about it later. That's what the Yankees did. Think about it. The Yankees opened a brand new stadium that season. And you know what? Even through the controversy with A-Rod said, hey, I'm leaving this BS outside. Let's go win a chip here.
And you know what? And I'll even say this. if Matsui didn't have that awesome Game 6, I think A-Rod would have been World Series MVP.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think if Matsui doesn't have the game that he has, A Rod's the World Series MVP, and maybe we have a little less disdain for A Rod, I guess. Even though I don't have disdain for A Rod, but
I've gotten over my disdain for him.
yeah, it took you a little bit, buddy, but you finally got over disdain for A Rod. But looking back at that World Series, if it's not for Matsui and A Rod, the Yankees don't have ring 27.
I'm thinking B tier. And
I'll meet you there in the beach here with that.
because you know what? I also gotta put it. Okay, where should we put this?
Put it ahead of 2000.
Okay, so between, and you know what? You also this series also has sentimental value because this was the last series that had all the. This was that last series that had the core four: Jeter, Mariano, Pettit, Posada, because Posada retired after 2011. Pettit and Mariano retired after 2013, and Jeter retired in 2014. Like, this was the last team to have the last series to have that group of guys.
That was such a good Yankees team too that year.
And, they came up they basically all came up together. And, and they were meshing well with the new guys. They were meshing well with CC and Teixeira.
Hey, don't forget Bernie Williams was on that team too.
He was not on that team.
He was not on a team. I thought he was for some reason.
No, he wasn't. That's why he's not part of the core four, because he wasn't on the 2009.
Oh, poor Bernie Williams.
And I love Bernie Williams.
I love Bernie Williams too.
He's my favorite. Toss it between him and Jeter.
Jeter's still my favorite.
Hey, but yeah, I'm putting 2009 at B. Now, is that unbiased enough for you, Patch?
Yes, it is. It's good enough for me. You know what?
You thought I was going to put it at S tier, didn't you?
I at least figured you were starting with A tier, then you said B tier. I'm like, you know what? I will agree with Billy on this one. I can put it at B tier.
Okay. Next, the 2010 World Series. All right, the Giants beat the Braves 3-1. In the LDS, they beat the Phillies in the LCS 4-2. Rangers beat the Rays 3-2, and the LCS, they knock off the defending champion Yankees 4-2. Giants won 11-7 in game 1. Freddie Sanchez RBI double. And in another double, 6-run 5th inning, Juan Uribe 3-run home run. Giants won 9-0 in game 2. Matt Cain versus Wilson. Pitchers duel until the 7th. Renteria home run. Uribe 2-run double. 7-run 8th inning. Game 3. Rangers 4-2. Mitch Moreland 3-run home run. Josh Hamilton home run. Cody Ross home run. Giants won game 4 4-0. Hamilton diving catch. RB Ruff 2-run home run. Buster Posey home run. Torres RBI double. And Giants won 3-1 in game 5. Renteria home run. And Nelson Cruz home run. And Nelson Cruz home run. And I'm sorry, somebody's un momento por favor.
You good. To think that a Rangers team that had Josh Hamilton on there, which, a what if scenario with Josh Hamilton, if demons didn't get in his way, what could have been Josh Hamilton's career? We might have seen Josh Hamilton on a few other teams that could have possibly brought him a World Series title.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, I'm sorry. Give me 1 minute.
No, you're fine, Bill. I can stall. Looking at the Giants, that this is the start of the even train for them. 2010 was the beginning of the evening train for them. We'll get to their other 2 World Series in a little bit, but also it's their first World Series appearance since 2002, which we talked about earlier. Prior to that, they didn't make. Prior to that, the last time they won a World Series was 1954. So,
okay, you know what? An Edgar Renteria was MVP, and this was the first title since for them moving to San Francisco. I'll be honest, to me, this is just one of those series that it just happened.
It just happened. It's a C tier World Series. It happened.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't like it wasn't 2001, but it wasn't 2006.
No,
It just happened.
just
So I
happened.
think C tier is.
C tier is fine.
Oh, I already know where I'm putting this one. 2011. Cardinals versus the Rangers. Cardinals beating the Phillies 3-2, then beating the Brewers 4-2. The Rangers beating the Rays 3-1, and beating the Tigers 4-2. Game 1, Cardinals beat the Rangers 3-2. Carpenter sliding catch, Berkman 2-run RBI single, Mike Napoli home run, Allen Craig RBI single. Game 2, Rangers won 2-1. Sac flies from Hamilton and Young, and Craig home run. Cardinals beat the Rangers 16-7. Allen Craig home run, David Freese RBI double, Michael Young home run. Kinsler flew out, double play. Kinsler threw out at the plate. Pujols hit 3 home runs. Albert Pujols joined Babe Ruth in 1926 and 28. And Reggie Jackson is the only players in baseball history up to that time to hit 3 home runs in a World Series game. Cardinals and Rangers won 4-0 in Game 4. Mike Napoli 3-run home run. At Game 5, Rangers won 4-2. Mike Moreland home run. Mike Napoli. Okay, I think we know what game we have to talk about. Game 6, which some people consider one of the best games ever. Cardinals won 10-9 in 11 innings. Kinsler RBI double. But let's get to the good part. Freeze's 2-run double to tie the game. Josh Hamilton home run in extra innings. Because Freeze's 2-run double, the Rangers were 1 strike away. And then Hamilton's home run in extra innings. And then Berkman hits a game-tying single. They were 1 out away again. And then David Freese walk-off home run. Game 7 didn't really live up to the hype, but Dave Freese, 2-run RBI double, 3 consecutive walks, score 2 runs. Carpenter pitch a gem. Cardinals won 4-3, and David Freese MVP. All right, brother, what do you? I'm thinking either S or A.
Oh,
This is an S tier for me. What do you think?
I will agree with you. It's an S tier.
Well, what do you think of this series overall?
Overall, it's a fantastic series. The Rangers couldn't get the job done yet again. To think, you're 1 strike away from winning it all and erasing, last year's, you made it, and to show that last year wasn't a fluke, that you belong there, and you win the big one, and you win it. And then the baseball gods are like, you're just going to have to wait a little bit longer. So it goes in the S tier.
All right, you want to put it above or behind 2001?
I put it at a 2001.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Next, the 2012 World Series.
F.
Giants beat the Reds 3-2 in the Aldiaz, beat the Cardinals 4-3. Tigers beat the A's 3-2, and they beat the Yankees 4-0. Sandoval hit 3 home runs in Game 1. 4th person hit 3 home runs in a World Series game. Scooter RBI single. Verlander knocked out after 4 innings. Giants won 2-0 in Game 2. Total pitchers duel between Bumgarner and Pfister. And Bumgarner pitched 7 shutout innings and 2 hits. Giants scored on a double play. Hunter Pence sac fly. Giants won 2-0. In Game 3, Blanco and Crawford. Game 4, Giants won 4-3. Cabrera and Posey and Scudero. And Giants won the series 4-0. Pablo Sandoval MVP. To me, this is one of those it just happened series.
This is a D tier World Series in my book. The Tigers only scored 6 runs altogether on 20 hits.
thinking back at it, this World Series was just kind of boring.
To to think also, this is a team where, you're it just happened, and this is a World Series, a Detroit's team that had Justin Verlander, I think Max Scherzer, it had what else did it have? I think it had Doug Fister
It did.
and Will Sanchez. It's just like this Detroit team had the world in their hands, and then it was just like, you know what? You guys stink against the Giants, and the Giants went two, went 2-3.
So yeah, I'm going D tier.
D tier. Yeah, it goes at the end right now.
Okay. 2013. The Red Sox beat the Cardinals. The Red Sox Cardinals. Red Sox beat the Rays 4-1. They beat the Tigers 4-2. Cardinals, they beat the Pirates 3-2, and they beat the Dodgers 4-2. Red Sox won game one, 8-1. David Ortiz grounder. David Ross goes to second. They call him out. It was overturned. Napoli 3-run RBI double. Beltran catching Big Poppy's grand slam. David Ortiz. Okay, game two. Cardinals won 4-2. David Ortiz home run. And Jay Despato attempt to on a misplay. And pitcher Craig Burslow, who was backing up the play, tried to get Jay out of third and went to the stands. Then Jay scored Descalo and went to the third, and the Cardinals led 3-2. Carlos Beltran then singled, and the Cardinals won 4-2. This was actually the first Red World Series game the Red Sox lost since Game 7 of the '86 World Series. Game 3, Cardinals won 5-4. Matt Holliday and Yadier Molina, RBI single. Matt Holliday, line drive, RBI. Xander Bogaerts, game tying home run. And Alan Craig, third. Yeah, never mind. I can't remember what I typed. Well, Alan Craig goes over third baseman. Will Millbrooks hits home run. They called him safe. Game 4, Red Sox won 4-2. David Ortiz troubles. Stephen Drew, RBI single. Johnny Jones home run. And Red Sox won 3-1. Matt Holliday, home run. David Ortiz, RBI double. RBI double with David Ross, Jacob Ellsbury, Bogaerts, and Drew. Game 6, Red Sox won 6-1. Shane Victorino, 3-run RBI double. Stephen Drew. Victorino, RBI single. Red Sox won series 4 games to 2. MVP, David Ortiz. I think this series for the Red Sox, and they won, was what the 2001 was to the Yankees, because this was right after the Boston Marathon bomb.
Yes.
And I think David Ortiz, and, this was for Boston to rise up from the ashes. And that's like back in 2007 for a second. 2007 is the one I think about the least, because there's really nothing there. Like 2004, you broke the curse. 2013, Boston rising from the ashes after the Boston Marathon bombing.
And then they also win the World Series at home. I think that was the first time in like 86 years that they won it.
85 since 1918.
Oh,
oh 95. Sorry, duh, math.
Sorry, I tried.
To me, I'm thinking like B. What do you think?
B tier. It's a solid B tier World Series.
All right, where should we put it?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Next one. 2014 Giants and Royals. Wild card. They beat the Pirates. Giants beat the Pirates 8-0. LDS, they beat the Nationals 3-1. Royals, they beat the A's 9-8. They beat the Angels 3-0. And they beat the Orioles in a sweep. Game 1, 7-1 Giants. Pablo Sandoval home run. Hunter Pence home run. And game 2, 7-2. Blanco home run. Royals won 7-2. Blanco home run. Royals tied the game on a Lorenzo Cain double. Eric Hosmer walk and a Billy Butler signal. And Infante and Escobar. Giants tie the game on doubles by Pablo Sandoval and Brandon Bell, and the Royals just blew it open. Perez hit a 2-run home run, and Infante hit a home run. Royals won 3-2. Giants in game 3. Game 4, Giants won 11-4. Game 5, Giants won 5-0. Gardner, first person since Josh Beckett to throw a shutout in the World Series. Crawford, RBI single, Juan Perez, 2-run home run. Royals won game 6, 10-0. Moustakas RBI double and 7-run, 8 out of 9 men got hits. And Giants won game 7, 3-2. Michael Morse sac fly. Royals struck back in the bottom of the second. Billy Butler produced a single, followed by an Alex Gordon double. Salvador Perez was hit by a pitch. And then Royals tied the game with a sack by Omar Infante. Joe Panic, who went to my high school, the diving catch. And Michael Morse's RBI single. Bumgarner come in pitch 5 innings. First one to pitch 50 pitches in a postseason. Giants won 4-3. Madison Bumgarner, MVP. What do you think? Patch? All right, here we go again.
It's a middle of the road World Series. No, take that back.
I thought this was a very good series.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing on my computer. I'm also watching football at the moment too.
I'm actually thinking A tier.
It's an A tier. You know, the Royals get to a World Series. It's awesome. You know, it's a best 7-game World Series. Giants complete, 3 of 6. It's an A tier.
Yeah, and even though the Royals lost, they forced a game 7.
Yes, they did.
All right. Speaking of the Royals, they go back to the World Series against the Mets. Excuse me. Okay. Have you seen that meme go, it's all Spider-Man, it's not about the money. It's all about the Mets, baby. Let's go Mets. Love the Mets. Have you seen that, Batch?
I have not, but I believe you.
I'll show you later. Royals beat the Astros in the LDS 3-2. Blue Jays 4-2 in the LCS. Mets beat the Dodgers 3-2 in the LDS, and they beat the Cubs 4-0 in the LCS. Royals won game 1, 5-4. Edison Volquez, actually, before the game, he lost his dad. And the team, at the request of his family, didn't tell him until after the game. Alcides Escobar hit an inside the park home run. Granderson hit a home run, and Moustakas an RBI single. And Alex Gordon's game tying home run in the 9th, and Eric Hosmer's walk off in the sac fly. Game 2, Royals won 7-1. And game 3, Mets won 9-3. David Wright home run, Granderson home run, David Wright 2-run RBI single. Game 4, Royals won 5-3. Conforto 2-run home run, Michael Moustakas RBI single, and Sal Perez RBI single. And then game 5, Royals won 7-2 in 12 innings after Eric Hosmer tied the game, and then they just blew the doors open. Royals won the series 4-1, and Sal Perez MVP. What are you thinking, Patch?
Excuse me. C.
I was thinking D, but we'll go C.
Was at the end. It's just
another just blah series.
Just a blah series. The Royals won a World Series, which is a random team winning a World Series, it seems. But regardless.
Okay. And I just want to say, we're not taking anything away from these teams. We commend their hard work. We just think the ones that are in C, D, and possibly F, they're just blah series. But we're not taking away their hard work.
All right, Bill, I'm going to skip you the trouble of 2016. We're putting in an S tier.
Oh, no doubt about it. The Cubs, 108 years of pain and suffering.
Beat another team that's been suffering for a while to win a championship. We're going to skip you the trouble of...
Thank you.
Of all the bullshit that Bill's going to talk about. No offense, people. I'm sure you want to hear statisticals. You go look it up yourself. And you know what, Bill? You're putting that one first right now.
Oh, absolutely.
That goes in S year, 2017.
Hold on. Okay. You know what? Let's knock these couple out. We could still talk about the info, but I think I've dragged on enough, and I think these people want to kill me by now.
Maybe not.
Okay.
2017, prior to knowledge coming out of what they did, this was probably an A tier.
All right. Dude, I want to ask you, should we look at this series in historical context or should we look at it in
You have to look at it in the moment of the year. You can go off what came out after us to the Nationals, but looking at it at a then in the moment time, this is an A tier World Series.
You know what?
But
I think this was an A tier as well.
we're talking the Houston Astros and the LA Dodgers. Houston ended up winning 4-3.
Because that's like then putting like the 2002 World Series before we found out about everything with Barry Bonds.
Yes.
Okay. Next, the 2018 World Series, the Red Sox and Dodgers.
Looking at that, I mean, it happened. Red Sox win another World Series. It's a B tier.
I'm thinking C tier, and here's
Okay.
why. Because Game 3, that was when the Dodgers, when they won 3-2 in 18 innings. That could have been the momentum shift for the Dodgers, but things just slipped away after that.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I actually know someone who was at that game.
Nice.
A friend of mine from high school, she was in LA for work. And she got tickets for the game, and boom.
Nice. All right, Bill. I want to hear you talk about the 2019 World, the path. You can talk about that one since you got notes on it. So I just want to hear you talk about it.
It's your team, Patch. Don't you want to talk about it?
Oh, I did not get notes ready on this.
Okay, I'll cover the more factual part. You cover the fan part.
My emotional status throughout that 10 days. Yes, I can talk about my emotional status through those 10 days.
2019, Nats Astros. Nationals beat Dodgers in the LDS, and they beat the Cardinals in the LCS. Astros beat the Rays in the LDS, and they beat the Yankees in the LCS. You know, Gurriel, the 2-run double. Zimmerman, home run in game 1. Nationals won 5-4. Juan Soto, home run. Eaton, RBI single. Soto, RBI single. And Soto's helping me out, too, right now. So, go Soto.
Shout out Juan Soto. I still love you.
George Springer, RBI single. Game 2, Nationals won 12-3.
Oof.
Game 3, Astros won 4-1. Josh Reddick, RBI single. Michael Brantley, RBI single. Victor Robles, RBI triple. Game 4, Astros won 8-1. Game 5, Astros won 7-1. Alvarez, Springer, Correa, Altuve. And Game 6, Rodon, RBI single. And Game 7, Uriel Gurriel, Carlos Correa, 2-route RBI single, or Anthony Rendon home run, Howard Kendrick 2-run home run, Juan Soto RBI single. Nats won 4-3. Steven Strasburg MVP. Patchman, over to you.
Well, we'll get to a grading in a minute. If you look at the Washington Nationals path, you know, there's been heartache countless times in the postseason for them. And, you know, that season, they looked like it was just a lost cause for them. They're just going to, you know, get lost in the shuffle. They might trade off some players. Started 19 and 37, I believe that was the record going in before the Davey Martinez motto came out. Let's go 1-0 each day. We get to the postseason, and, you know, my emotions are probably at an all-time high that year, as you know. It's not looking good because, you know, okay, hey, we made the playoffs, went not ended up winning 93 games, got the number 1 wild card. I think we ended up facing the Brewers in the wild card game. Trying to find stats here. Give me 1 second. I can gladly help everyone out here. I can just pull up the postseason. That'd be better. Duh, wrong button. Okay, here we go. So, the Nats, and then, they go the distance 5 games against the Dodgers. Howie Kendrick, 10th inning grand slam to give us the lead. And surprisingly enough, we made quick work of the Cardinals, sweeping the Cardinals 4 games to nothing, which I did not expect. And then it comes down to, who do I want? Do I want to face the Astros or do I want to face the Yankees?
Oh, if it was
And
the Yankees Astros World Series, I think we'd be at each other's throats.
I,
Shortly.
if I, and honestly, I wanted the Astros because if I got the Yankees and I lost to the Yankees, I would never hear at the end from all my friends for a very long time.
Me included.
You included. Dan's fine, Eric Ford's fine, but you guys probably wouldn't shut up but for the next 100 years while we're alive.
No, I'd bust your chops a little, but it's only good fun. But if you heard
regardless, thank you, Jose Altuve against Aroldis, and I got the Astros. Now, through my state of emotions, going up 2 games to none at home, I'm like, can we just get this done in 4 and we can just be happy? And then no, we decide to lose 3 at home, and then I have to go back to Houston and possibly watch my team lose in Houston. Win game 6. All right, game 7. My emotions are gonna be at an all-time high that day. I had bowling that night. Got home. I had to be to work. I had to be on a bus early in the morning, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to bed. I have to go to bed. Got to be up early. Need sleep. Got to be ready and focused for the day. And luck be told, I could not sleep because your mind's going at a million miles an hour. You look at the phone. You see that a home run happens, and you're like, home run? Who homered? Howie Kendrick homers. Nats take the lead. You're like, all right, well, I'm not playing on the TV yet. I'm not going to play on the TV yet. Get through the 8th. Put more runs up in the 9th. I'm like, you know what? TV goes back on. Let's watch the bottom of the 9th. And then luck be told, we win the World Series. Me not trying to scream at the top of my lungs. I get texts from all my friends. Congrats, blah, 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 blah.
Including me.
Including you, including my friend Marco Polak. I think Old Ops guy texted me. A bunch of my other friends text me. I text my friend Stevie, who was a big Nats fan. What a moment. What a cathartic feeling, as Sean Doolittle says on the little YouTube special that happened. If you look at this World Series, this is I guess lightning in a bottle moment, because no one thought the Nationals would be there. And through all the postseason heartbreak, losing to the Dodgers, losing to the Giants. I think we lost to the Cardinals too in a postseason run. And it's just, and you have the talent there, but then you do it with this talent. Pitching was phenomenal. Strasburg, Corbin, Scherzer. Then you got to turn to the bullpen and Doolittle. And then you got the one song that took the internet by storm, and Baby Shark with
Oh God, I hate that song.
I soft spot in my heart for many reasons. The discussion, different day. And Steven Strasburg gets MVP, and for Steven Strasburg to win a World Series, for Max Scherzer, Max Scherzer was close a couple times. He just couldn't get over that hump. Couple of those players, Kendrick getting a World Series. To me, I could be unbiased. I could be biased and say it goes in S tier. And to me, I think it belongs in S tier. But looking at historical factor, it leads the front runner for A.
Yeah, I was thinking A as well, actually. So
I put it at the front runner of A. As much as I would love to put it in an S tier, and especially after what came out after, it would go in S tier. But from looking at it, a then now moment, it's an A. It's the head of the A tier list.
Okay. So next one. Okay, Patsy's got thoughts on this one, the 2020 World Series.
And people know my opinion on this. This is an automatic F in my book.
Here's the thing. It was not a bad series.
Well, it's not a bad series, but it's a season that should have happened, and I'm just going to put it at that. And you know what? I'll be nice to the Dodger fans out there. We'll put it in C tier.
Because, this was through no one's fault of their own. They just...
A global pandemic happened.
Yeah, thanks, COVID.
Thanks. Shout out Shout out to a pandemic that gave me long hair for the first time.
And he won't cut it.
I won't cut it.
All right, we got three more to go. We got 2021, the Braves and the Astros.
B tier.
I think that's fair to say. And MVP was who was MVP? MVP was Jorge Soler. Braves won 4-2. Go B tier.
B tier. Put it right after 2009.
Okay. 2022.
It goes in A tier for I would say a few reasons. Dusty Baker gets his first World Series when, Dusty Baker forever was trying to win a World Series as a manager. The Astros get out of the controversy of 2017 and prove that, hey, past is in the past. We can get past that. And, Houston proved that, that they can overcome controversy. And they beat a very good Phillies team too, that Phillies team that year.
I would put them in A tier as well, because like I said, the Astros get coming out of the ashes of the cheating scandal. And as much as I was rooting against the Astros, I was happy for Dusty Baker.
I was very happy for Dusty Baker.
He deserved one.
You can't hate Dusty Baker.
You can't. He just seems like such a likable dude. And
there's very few managers that you can't hate.
He was on the TBS coverage for the playoffs. He just seems like such a likable guy.
He's a lovable guy. But
I'll put him in A. I'll put it in A tier.
All right. It goes probably right after the 2014 World Series.
So right here.
Yeah, right there.
Oh wait, wrong one. That's the wrong one. Sorry, ding.
It's all good.
Okay. All right. Final one, 2023, Rangers and Diamondbacks.
Honestly, I don't remember really watching this much of this World Series. C tier.
C tier.
C tier goes. I mean, Texas Rangers. No, it actually goes in B tier. Texas Rangers won their first World Series.
Okay.
So I would put that right after 2021.
Okay. So let's reevaluate anything you wanna.
I mean, let's see here. 2000 was what? So our overall, the Cubs are, if anything, I would move if I'm keeping one World Series in S tier, I'm keeping Indians and the Cubs in there. And then I moved 2011 and 2001 down. 2001 goes behind 2019, and then 2011 would go behind 2001.
You want me to move those?
Yeah, but put 2011 down behind 14.
Wait, you would put 2011 behind 2014?
Oh, hang on, I gotta look at 2011 goes in front of 2014.
I disagree.
2011, I'm saying 2011 goes in front of 2014.
Okay.
Because on my fault, Bill. Goes behind. My apologies. I'm looking at something wrong. So 2011 goes down to A tier still, but
Okay, why is 2011 going to A tier?
Yes, it went 7 games, but it's a 7-game. Okay, you got Game 6. The memorable moment of the 2011 World Series is Game 6, where it's okay. Game 7's tomorrow, and then Game 7's like, oh hey, Game 7. And then
Game 7 was kind of a wash.
Yeah, it's a wash. The memorable moment's Game 6. 2 chances to close out the World Series, and then
I'm putting 2011 above 2019.
No, 2019 goes above 2011 because that you have every road team win, and the Nationals have to come back to Houston, win 2, and then Howie Kendrick, with 6 outs left, puts the Nats ahead, and the Nats bullpen has to come in. And then you're fighting a heart of the lineup of the Houston Astros, which includes Altuve, Springer, and all that.
Okay, you know what? Then I'm gonna move to one because I've been wanting to do this. 2006 goes in F tier
That's fine. I'm 100% all right with that.
because that was just a boring series.
All right.
No one remembers it.
Then 2001 goes in front of 2019.
Okay, I think that's fair. Even though I think I personally think 2001 belongs in S tier.
It, 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 if you're looking at it, it's not the Yankees make the World Series. Okay, after 9/11 happens, it goes 7 games. So does 2019, and then it's a walk-off win for the D-backs. But if you're looking at a perfect World Series, it's the 2016 World Series.
Oh, okay. So are you thinking as like S tier is like number one and everything else like
S tier is number one. It's 2016, and then everything else is perfect.
well, I think with 2001, because you got to look about it this way. The D-backs who've only been in the league for 3 years beat the mighty New York Yankees who were just coming off their
You do that, and then you walk off against the greatest closer of all time in Rivera.
exactly.
It's a perfect A tier for them. I'm looking at a perfect World Series, and the Cubs have had so much superstitious things happen to them. And and they were on the cusp of the World Series the year before. They ran into the Mets, which were kind of going in on their own little magical run, and we thought the Mets might be able to go back again. That didn't happen, and right now the Mets I think are losing right now 6-3 to the Dodgers. If my scoreboard's correct, but you're looking at something that two teams going in a very long drought. And you had everything in that 2016 World Series.
Oh, you did. You absolutely did.
And especially Game 7. You look at Game 7. I think David. What was it? David Ross hit the go-ahead home run.
Yeah, I think so.
No. Yeah, I think it was David Ross. I gotta look. Blah, 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 blah. Think about it. Game 7 went into a rain delay. I think let's see here. If we're looking at the 6th, let's see here. Chicago scored 1, and then in the first inning, then the Cleveland scored tied it up in the bottom of the 3rd. Then Cubs took the lead again. So 3-1, put up another 2. So it's 5-2, 5-1 going to the bottom of the 5th. Then it's 5-3, 6-3, bottom of the 8th. Rajai Davis, I think, tied it up, made it 6-6. You get the rain delay, and then Chicago scores 2 in the 10th, and then Cleveland tried to walk it off in the bottom of the 10th and only scored 1. And then Cubs were able to close it out. Cubs win the World Series. Drought's over, and we probably witnessed the greatest World Series in our lifetime so far.
I remember exactly where I was when I was
in my room. My TV was in a different. My TV's now on the right. My TV sat on top of my desk in my room.
I was in my college dorm room watching that. I broke up my poor roommate.
I was in my room watching. The first person I texted was my best friend's wife because she loves the Cubs.
But anyway, all right, I think that's fair. But
I'm looking at keeping one World Series in S tier because there's probably one that deserves there. And if we can go back behind 2000 and probably find another World Series that could be in the S tier, and then this drops to the top of A tier. But we're not here to do that today.
No, I think that's fair. I would put 2016 at 1, 2001 at 2. And you know what? Once you think about it, Game 6 is really the only thing they think about in 2011.
That's right.
All right. Anything else, or do you think this is a good list?
This is a good list, my friend.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry I bored all of you with all the boring stats, but
Eh, videos need stats once in a while.
yeah. All right. So, anything else?
I am good, my friend. You have the power to end. I no, I take back. I got the power to end this.
All right. We
Actually, no,
hope
you
you.
you can end it, my friend, because you have the power. I don't have the power.
Oh, I have the stuff. Okay. You want to see more? Go to www.sportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check out our blogs, our history. Check out our podcast available on all platforms. Like, comment, subscribe here on YouTube. Check us out on. Check out all our socials. I'm Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy.
I am Lawrence Patchman Lang. Member, say
Thank,
goodnight. Member, say goodnight to your mama. Mama loves you. Say goodnight to Papa. Papa loves you too.
thank you.